Hey everybody, this is Jamie Shaw and Wonder Wit, and this is your next episode of Thriving Thursday. So, what have you been up to this week, Whitney? Or Wonder
Oh,
Wit?
just washing out my cape and being off. No, I'm just playing. It's been a busy mom week for me. I had a lot more mom hat wearing than I did my cape wearing this week. So yeah, I feel like I'm playing catch up. What about you?
Oh, I've had a pretty busy week trying to get traffic counts. I've talked about traffic counts on here before, trying to get them wrapped up for the end of the year. And then today I was out surveying all day. So I was up and down hills and I forgot I was 49 years old and I feel it now. So my legs are in pain and my feet are in pain. I forget I'm that old and I'm not a 20-year-old no more, and I go out there and work like a 20-year-old, and then I feel it the next morning when I can't get out of bed. So
I feel like that
so
today. I made the mistake of wearing heels while I was running my errands and doing doctor's appointments, and my feet hurt.
that's what I feel like. I feel like I wore a pair of heels all day. So
I was walking through the store, but I was like, my feet hurt. And my son goes, I know. You've been whining about it all day. It's bad. You've been whining when the 6-year-old's like, I'm tired of this.
yeah. Well, Wonder What kind of wrote the copy for tonight, and I had such a long day because I had a 10-hour day today. Luckily, I didn't have a long drive because the site I went to is only like 45 minutes from my house. So I kind of stole her copy and posted it on my page. I didn't think she'd mind, but that's what
You
we're
know
going
what?
to talk about.
Actually, I'm just playing. I want credit. I'm just
Oh, that's why I was giving you credit. We want to talk about tonight. Everybody wants the magic formula, but what is the magic formula? Is it selling everything under the sun that you can sell, clickbank? Is it, just to make a buck? Is it just to make a sale, or is it to find who you are in this business and step into your power and become the person you're supposed to be?
What's funny is if you broke down the copy, you could probably make like a 5-part series out of this.
And I know.
Sorry. You really could if you took each little component into account and broke them down. You really could make a 5-part series out of this. And for the sake of time, we won't do that tonight. But everybody who kind of has this cynical, I shouldn't say everybody, but there's kind of this cynical approach when people ask for the magic formula. They just want success, or they want this insta business, or insta fortune, insta fame. I like using that phrasing because it's true. We're such a microwave society, and I sorry to say it, but it's true. We are an instant gratification society. We want the fast, we want the easy, and we're so used to it now that we want it in business too. And so, you get the cynical, oh, well, it comes down to work. And yes, that's true. It does come down to a lot of work. But there are components. there are definitely components. And a lot of it has to do with, people want to say becoming yourself. Well, yes, but you have to unbecome all of the garbage first. You have to strip away the elements that you strapped on during your life course. And, of course, life experiences mold us into who we are and whatnot. But there are certain things that we put on because we were supposed to. And what you'll find when you're going through your branding process, I like to say that branding is one of the most powerful therapy sessions you could ever have. As if you go through a true branding, you will have so much massive clarity of who you really are and who you really want to be.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's not that we're experts and we're trying to tell you to do this or that. We're just trying to chip away the rough edges because the person you are is always been there, but you've had some reprogramming along the way. I've had some reprogramming along the way. And our brain's like a computer. You can reprogram it. You just got to know what to reprogram it with. And I listened to a interesting audio by one of my mentors on the way to work this morning, and it was the title of it is, you're going to laugh at this, ice cream truck. And it was from one of my big mentors, and after she went through the audio, all that's been going on in my brain all day long is that music the damn ice cream truck plays, because she broke down a formula about an ice cream truck and that music, and it's been playing ever in my brain all day long, and I can't get it out of my brain. I have to share this audio with you later, so it can be stuck in your brain, and you can, dissect it and everything, because you'll get a lot out of it too, and then that music will be playing in your brain too, and you understand what I mean. But we all look at things like Wonderwit said. We want instant gratification. Okay, if I sign up to make money online, as soon as I sign up, the money's going to drop in my bank account. I'm going to be rich, and I can quit my job. I actually talked to a guy here last week, and he, signed up for a program, and he quit his job right off the bat. And then he struggled for like 6 months, and didn't make any money. And he's like, I have nothing. I'm dead broke. I'm like, well, why did you quit your job? He said, well, I thought as soon as I signed up, money would start flowing into my bank account. I said, no, dude, you got to work. It takes, 6-8 months, sometimes up to 2 years to start. You may make money here and there, but to start to make consistent money, it's going to be anywhere from a year to 2 years before you consistently start making money. And he was just floored at that. So, but one of the first things we want to talk about is strategy. How do you get the strategy? And this is basically our magic formula. Your strategy, which is traffic plus value plus psychology plus communications, and that is your strategy. So what is your strategy to get traffic? Most people start off with blogging, or Instagram or YouTube or stuff like that. You have to have a strategy, and you need to master that strategy to get traffic to your blog, because you can write a blog post, you can record a YouTube video, but if people don't see it, nobody's ever going to know who you are.
Sorry, craziness going on over there.
I know. I remember when it used to be crazy at my house all the times.
Oh my gosh, there's something else. But yeah, okay. So you pick a strategy. And this is one thing that in the beginning everybody falls victim to. I know I do. Or I'm much better about it now, but shiny object syndrome is real. It is real. A lot of people want to try out the hot new thing. Somebody's having massive success over here, and somebody else wants to try it out. Even though they're doing something else, they're like, oh man, Instagram's popping right now, and you're doing Facebook, and you're like, oh, well, let me hop over to Instagram. No, don't do that, because what happens is you lose your consistency with Facebook, and that audience that you were building over there no longer engages with you, and you can't sell them. And then you're basically starting over with a new audience. You got to pick literally one strategy, one platform, and then you work with the way that you're going to do it. So like if you're using social media marketing, how are you going to use it? If it's Facebook, are you building your audience through videos, through posting, through Messenger? You want to create an avenue. You don't want a 4-lane highway. You want an avenue. And you want to work with that until you have massive results.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the psychology part of the strategy, you have to find a way to believe in yourself, and if you can't believe in yourself, you have to find a mentor and a community of people that will believe in you until you can believe in yourself. Because a lot of people, they struggle in the strategy because they don't believe they can do it. They don't believe they deserve to have success. and they don't believe that they're capable of doing it. But what they don't understand, you're capable of doing anything you want. You just have to program this up here to do it, and you have to set an intention. This is something Whitney taught me that I didn't really know. You have to set an intention, you have to set a goal, and you have to go after that goal, and you have to achieve that goal. I don't do very good at setting goals, and maybe that's the part that's missing in my marketing. So
yeah, and then that kind of ties into strategy, and that ties into the next component too. But when you're working your strategy, the thing is, as you learn, you want to provide value as you're building your audience, and if you're working Facebook, I'm going to add friends to, my account, or I'm going to, target a market with my page. You want to be providing value. So again, you should be taking in training daily, whether that's 15 or 30 minutes a day. But share what you've learned. Make sure you're sharing. You know how they say sharing is caring? Well, sharing is caring for your audience. That's how you're showing them that you better yourself, that you're making progress. And eventually you'll establish an authority. It doesn't happen overnight, but because you share so much value, people see you as a resource. And then you become a resource who knows what they're talking about. And that's when you get authority status. But you have to show up consistently. If you don't keep showing up, you're not going to claim authority, or you're not going to be able to have that authority with your audience, and your inconsistency will show because they will join somebody else. That's a big thing too. A lot of people will show you what value you're providing, because if you're sporadic, nobody wants a sporadic leader.
Right.
You're hard to get a hold of. Nobody wants that in a leader. You've got to be developing. You've got to be there consistently. And then a part of your strategy too, I put psychology, because it's true. You want to find out what people really need, because if you don't have it, obviously they're not going to buy it. That's just basic human psychology, is human needs. And then make sure that you're communicating on the level of your audience. You're using the language that they use, and they're able to comprehend what you're saying.
Yes, totally. Sounds like the kids are getting rowdy again. So I want to know what kind of psychology you use on them, because that has to be some serious psychology.
Yes, there is always. There's always. When the fear of loss is a real thing. Fear of loss, I use that constantly. Guys, if you don't know this acronym, memorize it. Ow, you're hurting me. You're hurting me. It's FUJI, F-U-J-I. Fear of loss, urgency, Jones effect, and indifference. And I promise you it works with kids as well as it does adults. Fear of loss will get my kids to do almost anything. And if I can't get them with fear of loss, I get them with urgency or Jones effect. Urgency, I'm like, oh, you better do it because we're about to leave. Or Jones effect, I'm like, your brother did it.
Yeah, I remember when you taught that strategy. I've got it written down in one of my notebooks. So
I think that was one of the first things I taught in the workshop.
Yeah, it is. And it is very effective if you use it. So the next part is, vision, your purpose, your message, and your goals. And like I said, this is something that I learned from Wonder Wit, because she has a mindset challenge that she's put together. I've seen it. I've got a sneak peek of it. And I'm like, wow, I thought I was into mindset, but I don't hold a candle to Wonder Wit. And I'm excited about this mindset challenge. I'm going to get in it with her, and let her twist my brain and tweak my brain, because, there's areas in there that I don't do very well, like setting goals, writing my goals down and setting them, and then making sure I achieve my goals, whether they're big or small. That's an important step of creating your vision and creating who you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the first things that you pointed out, was all the goals in there. And, there's the long-term goals and there's the short-term goals, because Long-term goals are great, especially if you've got, 5 to 10 years. You've got a long-term plan. If you write it down, it's a plan. But if you don't have those short-term goals, those are mile markers. Those let you know that you're making progress towards the big goal. And that's why I tell everybody, you got to celebrate those little victories, because that's progress. And maybe you're not perfect. I don't know anybody who is, but maybe it's not perfect, but it's progress. And progress, imperfect progress, is way better than perfect not done.
Right. In that audio there, refer back to, and that's what the leader said, a lot of that. And then she said, a lot of leader will tell you what you need to do to achieve your vision, achieve your goals or whatever. Step by step, they'll tell you what you need to do. It can be, Jim Rohn, or, speaks to you in a message, or, or speaks to you in a dream, who knows? But he can give you step by step instructions. And our biggest downfall is that we don't take action on the step by step purpose, so that's where a lot of us fail at. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of goals too, is a lot of people don't sit down really and say, why am I here? What am I here to do? A lot of people will stop and settle at, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And it creates this mental block, and your brain says, okay, we don't know. And it just doesn't continue the problem solving process that a brain is meant to do. The brain's meant to take things apart and figure it out. But when you say, I don't know, your brain goes, okay, we don't know. Stops the process. And instead of continuing, this is what you need to do, is say, what do I like? What sets me on fire? What do I actually really, really love to do? What are the conversations that I have that make me feel refreshed, make me feel energized, make me feel like I've accomplished something? What gives me a sense of accomplishment? What fulfills me? Those are the questions. And they're very meaty, they're very heavy. And it's funny because a lot of people that I come across in my business have a lot of philanthropic endeavors that they want to accomplish. Whether they want, I met somebody who wanted to start a soup kitchen in her area, and I said, why? And it turned out that something in her childhood had to relate to that she had experienced the need for that at one point in her life when she was a very small child, and so that left an impression on her. And I know somebody who wants to set up an organization that works a lot with military and our former soldiers who, I say former, but I don't think you ever really stopped being a soldier. But a lot of our men and women who have served, who have PTSD, because that was something that she experienced in her life through, by way of a loved one. But there's so many people who have these things that say, I wish I could do something for this person or this group of people. And they leave it at that thought. Well, maybe that is your brand, your mission, your mark that you were meant to lead. Maybe that's the torch that you were meant to carry. What if you could? Just what if?
Right, and going back to your brain a little bit, you like wonder what was saying, this is my take on it, and I've listened to a lot of, Dr. Joe and stuff like that, and your brain's designed to protect you, and you hear comfort zone a lot. You got to step out of your comfort zone. Well, when you step out of your comfort zone, it hurts, because your brain feels that pain, and it's trying to protect you. That's why you don't go outside the comfort zone. And many people try to stay in that mold, in that circle, that comfort zone, because it hurts every time they go out of it. And they would rather not experience the pain. But if you can experience the pain for a little while, it will subside, and eventually you'll get through it. And then you'll grow. I was scared to do videos. And once I experienced the pain a little bit and did a video, it didn't matter how bad it was. I did the video. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring up the comfort zone, and I feel like this is a funny one for me to experience, like with my friends, especially the ones who aren't in network marketing. You can talk about like going to a new restaurant. And we tried, oh, have you tried that place? I really want to try it. And somebody always says, I don't know, I've never been there. And they kind of get this moment where they look like a scared rabbit, and you can almost feel their heart rate speed up. Like, that's how the comfort zone is. Because when you think about, oh, I don't know, your heart goes flutter, flutter, and your breathing goes, oh God, your lungs are working a little bit faster, you know. And it's kind of a funny thought in the sense, but that's really what happens to you. Is your comfort zone is the comfort blanket. And you can't be Linus your whole life. You have to drop the blanket and grow up a little bit. And this is one of the ways that we do it. We expand our consciousness with these new experiences and these new moments of development where we're learning and we're doing things that we've never done before. And you will feel your brain hurt. You are actually creating new, connections in your mind. So your brain is actually growing. I like to think that that's why my brain hurts when Jamie teaches me techie stuff. And I'm like, I gotta take a break.
I'm just making your brain grow.
It hurts. It hurts.
And that, that part of that, you're talking a lot about attraction marketing there, and people don't understand what attraction marketing is. I'm not no expert that I can teach attraction marketing, but I've been taught, been learning from the expert. And she laid down a good analogy that I heard the other day. Attraction marketing is like a relationship. Imagine yourself that you just met the guy of your dream, or you just met the girl of your dreams. You feel that instant connection. You feel that instant attraction, and you do everything. It doesn't matter if you got a comfort zone or not. You do everything outside of your comfort zone to meet this person or to talk to this person. That's attraction. And people don't realize that. You walk into Walmart and you see, for a guy, you see a big screen, big 70-inch big screen TV. Your eyes are drooling and everything because you're attracted to it. You want it. So you want a relationship with the big screen TV. So you do everything in your power to get it. Or meeting the guy or girl of your dreams is the same way. You're drooling, you're tripping over your feet and everything until you get to meet them or talk to them and find out if they're your soulmate or not. Some of us get lucky. I got lucky and met my soulmate, and I've been with her almost 25 years, so. But people don't understand the attraction. That's what the attraction part of it is right there.
Yeah, that I really like this. That moment of, oh, I really like this, or I really like them. And it's funny because when your attraction marketing is right and you are attracting the right target, they will tell you that. I feel like I've known you for so long, or where have you been? I've been looking for somebody just like you. That's a common conversation when your attraction marketing is working for you. But again, when you find your purpose, you find your message. For some of us, we fiddle around with it for a while, and some of us find it rather quickly, and we just know that that's what it is. And I think my message has always been kind of not settling and living for really living and not just settling.
Getting by.
Yeah. I think that's something that I've always kind of stuck with. And of course I have causes that are near and dear to my heart because of the experiences that I went through that shaped me. But ultimately, even with, the traumas of the past or, negative life experiences, again, you gain. You're being chipped away, but you're being refined.
Right.
And, you come out on the other side and you have this message. And when you get your mind right, you can pick up the torch and say, this is what I'm here for. And then you will find that when you start running, people will run with you and say, let me hold your torch too. I want to carry your torch. I want to run with you.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. You've heard this audio as well as I have called Your Message, Your Message. And what it's saying, is your mess, your story is your message. What you've been through has created who you are today. And your experiences, which are your mess, your story, help define who you are. And people get hung up on, well, I can't tell my story because of this and this and that. Well, that's the whole point of sharing your mess with everybody. But you don't have to share all the fine details of what you went through and stuff like that. But your main core of your mess, the main core of your story, you need to share, because there may be someone else out there struggling with the same things, and your story will help them.
Yeah, and I think too, in direct sales and network marketing, there's a common sense that you have to be making X amount of dollars, or you have to seem like you're making X amount of dollars before you can really, get out there and put out the story. And that's not true. And if you want somebody with massive success around them that is an advocate for documenting your story and sharing your progress, Gary Vaynerchuk says it all the time, all day, every day. It's hilarious to me that the man has been saying the same thing for years. And even he says he's been saying the same thing for years. But it's true. You have to document your progress. You have to document the story. Nobody really truly believes the overnight success story. We want to. That's not even the dreamer. That's the unrealistic version of us that wants to believe that. But there's no such thing as an overnight success.
Right.
There really isn't. There's a lot of story. And I mean, if you're the single mom out there who's struggling to pay bills, or you're the broke college student who's taking out loans for tuition and barely getting by, that's what people want to know. That's what people will watch you. And that's a brilliant way to build your audience, because then they're going to say, hey, I knew this person when they were struggling and I watched them come up. And they're going to say, you know what? I've been watching your story and I have to join you now. I have to step in your circle. I have to run with you in your torch.
Right. And if you look at all the big marketers that are gaining success now, look at how long they've been in the industry. Most of them been in 2 to 5 years, and they're just now hitting the top. And I'm not saying that it's going to take you 5 years, but it's going to take, you got to be building this for the long term. And, a 2-year mark, is a good spot. And I don't mean just jump in and do nothing for 2 years and, okay, I should be successful. I've been in for 2 years. That's 2 years of working your ass off and getting leads and sales and stuff and working your way up, then as soon as one of my big mentors, Don Hockman, she said, she was telling her story on Facebook. I don't know if you caught her Facebook Lives here the last couple of days or nothing, but she was saying that, just like she just had a moment, and then boom, she just took off all of a sudden. And that's what it's like. You struggle long enough, and all of a sudden it just makes sense, and you start overcoming the struggle when you start moving.
Absolutely. There's, God, you could really stay on this for all the time. All the time, you really could. But the mission and the message and the purpose comes from the struggle. It comes from the places that left an impression on you, whether it was positive or negative, whether you met somebody and you just thought, I want to be just like them, or I want to be somebody like that, and that's the impression that touched you to your core, or you went through an experience that you said, enough, I can't do this anymore, and I'm going to make it work at all costs. And that's actually a good segue into the next component, mindset. It takes a while to get to the point where you're grateful for your struggle. I think most of us tend to be pretty bitter about it when we're going through it. I think that's a human emotion, that, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're upset, you feel wronged. But when you get to the point where you can say, you know what, if I hadn't have been through this, I wouldn't have learned this, or this. And you really do have to look for the lesson. You can sit there and be hurt and wounded all day, but it's not going to get you anywhere. It's like I tell my son every time I'm like, you got to do your homework. And he's like, and he has a cow over doing his homework. And I'm like, you can sit here and you can cry about it all day, but it doesn't change the fact, and it sure doesn't get your homework done. It has to be done. And sometimes we have to go through these struggles because I feel as it's a refining process. The universe has chosen you to move this mountain, to show other people that mountain can be moved, because you're not the only person going through it at all. You're not the only person who's walked in your path and walked in your shoes. There are plenty of other people out there, and those people need somebody to look up to. And if you're thinking, why me? I'm better than this, or I'm smarter than this, or I deserve more, you're right. So go get it. Put out the effort and make those improvements. Look for the lessons. Maybe there was something that you had to learn from your struggle to move forward. For me, I had to learn how to stand up for myself.
Right.
I was a doormat. I'm not even gonna lie. I was a doormat. And I wasn't always this forthcoming with my opinions. I learned to hold them back, because that wasn't something I was supposed to do. And so I became this doormat personality that you could just run over, and I wouldn't fight you. But now you can't get me to shut up. It's a very different story now.
There's nothing wrong with that, and that's how I raise my girls, not to take any crap from anybody, and my oldest one, when her boyfriend separated, he did nothing but constantly give her crap, put her down and stuff like that, and she just took it. And one night I got face to face with her and said, "What are you doing? I did not raise you to take crap from any man. Why are you?" And then finally she grew a pair and quit taking crap from him. So,
but I mean, there's the growth for you. I mean, that is a personal development,
right?
When we take in these trainings, we're listening to audios, we're watching lives from our mentors or people who influence us, or just general influences in our space and in our niche. That's development. You're learning something, and you're saying, you know what, whether it's the style of speaking, whether it's the lesson they're sharing, or, a technical execution of something, you are personally developing yourself. And that's where the mind really takes off, because then your mind says, I can do it too. I know how to do this, or I know how they did that. And you can start putting two and two together to emulate. I don't want to say mimic, because nobody's a puppet, and you shouldn't necessarily try to be somebody else. But you do want to mirror their actions with your message. If they have a measurable amount of success, then you want to mirror their actions with your message. And you might just be taking components too. But let's go back to mindset. This is where your mind puts two and two together to say, I learned this and I can do this. And I'm going to learn more and I'm going to do more. And then I'm going to do more and I will be more. That is the most important part of mindset. Because if you say, I'm doing all the things that every six-figure earner is doing, and I still don't have success, okay, who are you being?
Exactly. I used to have the mentality, I had to, you've seen the TV commercial, or the cartoon, or you got the devil sitting on one shoulder and the angel sitting on the other shoulder. The devil's telling you, why are you making a video? Because you're not going to be successful. Nobody's going to watch it. Why are you writing a blog post? Nobody's going to read it. And now with all the mindset training and stuff I do, I got the little angel sitting on my shoulder now saying, well, Dave's successful. Why aren't you? Katie's successful. Why aren't you? Diane's successful. Why aren't you? Ray Higdon's successful. Why aren't you? And it's the place you've gotten your mindset, or you don't even hear the whiny little crap anymore. All you hear is the one saying, why not you? They can do it. Why not you? and it's just a mentality thing and basically a mindset thing. And after you do it long enough, you start to think a lot differently than you used to. A lot of negative things don't even affect me anymore. They just go over my head, and it drives my wife nuts because my mom or my sister-in-law will make a smart-ass comment towards me, and I don't even hear it. It just goes over my head because it's negative, and she hears it, and it drives her insane. So
it's true though, because a lot of things used to bother me, and when I first really got into the online space and I really started building my audience, I remember the creepers. Creepers is real, guys. There are real creepers out there. That used to drive me up the wall, and every time it would happen, I'd go to two professional friends, and I'd say, look over my profile because there's something there that is drawing these people, and I have got to get rid of it because I can't stand this. And I didn't take into consideration that creepers are just creepers and they're going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. So there was nothing wrong with my profile. There was nothing wrong with the content I was putting out. But that's something that just doesn't bother me anymore. And it's funny because I joked with, Erin Birch, Jamie. I joked with Erin Birch because she posted one that she got into her inbox, and I was like, we should just make a copy book of these. I'll take screenshots. I'll make a file or something and make a copy book.
Oh, wow.
Because, it happens nonstop. And it's frustrating, yes, but you can't control other people. So it's like I see it in my inbox, and I'm like, not today. I get back to work. Whereas before, I would have spent half the day whining about it.
Yeah, and speaking of creepers, I've had not a creeper, but what do you call him?
Hater.
A hater.
Troll,
there you go.
Like a personalized troll.
And I've thought about that today. He's been hating on me a lot here lately, and I'm trying to figure out what did I do to the guy. And it's not that I did anything to the guy. He's in the victim state because everything is everybody's fault but his. He's not successful because of me. He's not successful because of this or that. And in reality, he's not successful because he didn't do the work, because he didn't take the action, because he didn't take the responsibility for his outcome. He's playing the victimhood card, and he's boo-hooing because he's the victim. And I've talked about this before, and I don't play the victim state because your results are the outcome of your work, and they're nobody's responsibility but your own.
Exactly. And it's like Tony Robbins says, if you're going to blame somebody for your failure, you have to blame them for your success too. So I don't see it in that guy to give you any credit for success. If you ever had it. And that's one thing you do have to be aware of, and again can really help your mindset when you understand, like in taking this back to whatever struggles that you are facing or have been through. If you're going to be mad about it and blame your current situation on it, when you do get to success, you have to give credit there too, and that's one way to become grateful for going through your struggle.
Well, I realized this because I went back and I found a Steve Kribda audio right after the Live the Dream event. And he said, if you're struggling, you're failing, you need to look in the mirror and look at that person and say, you're struggling. He said, and don't just look in the mirror. He said, get up in there real close and look at that person in the mirror and say, why are you struggling? I probably just freaked everybody out by doing that. But he said, get up in there in that mirror, look eye to eye with yourself and say, why are you failing? Because that's the only person that's making you fail right there. And that message that Steve put out that right after Live the Dream, that really hit home. Because a lot of people won't do that. They won't get face to face in the mirror and look themselves in the eye and ask themselves the question. And he challenged you right there on that audio to do it. And how many people went and did it? I went and did it. I'm not afraid to look myself in the eye if I'm failing at something and ask myself why I'm failing, because I'm the only person that can answer that. So yeah,
and like your favorite Eric Thomas says, A lot of people are looking for, the refund when something doesn't work, but they don't ever go to the mirror and ask a refund from themselves. When you don't have success, it's because you didn't do the work.
Right.
So you can't get mad about the results you didn't get for the work you didn't do.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think this goes in. I know you want to end a little bit early tonight just because the mastermind is on in a little bit, but going into the last part of this puzzle, this 4-piece, we've gone over strategy, vision, and mindset. The next part is extraordinary grit. And this is something that has to be unconditional. Absolutely unconditional. You have to love yourself, your purpose, your mission, your vision, so much so that you will unconditionally dedicate your energy to it. That you will put in massive work consistently. And in the copy I wrote, it's ambition plus commitment and determination. It's completely unconditional, though. It has to be, because if you have a bad day and you don't show up, you just threw off all the work you did. You really do. If you don't stay consistent through your strategy and you take, God, it's been a bummer of a week, or I've been super busy and I'm going to take this week off. Well, don't get mad when your bank account isn't cashing checks because you're not doing any work. Yeah. You won't build momentum that way.
Yeah, I mean, I left the house at 6:30 this morning, and I got home right around 5. So I had a long 11-hour day. Just not that didn't count my drive to the job site. I mean, I was on the job site 10 hours today. I could have easily said, "Oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing my hangout," and just not did it. But that's not how I'm wired. That's not how I'm built. I'm dedicated to doing my show every week. And I asked Wonderwit to join forces with me because I know her dedication too. She's got 3 little mouths to feed. She's highly dedicated, and that's her dream, to provide a good life and a good income for them 3 babies, and so she's going to work her ass off, and she's going to be dedicated, and she's going to have the ambition and the commitment and the determination to show up every week. I knew she was going to show up every week. That's why I asked her to be here. I could have easily texted her and told her, I'm running late. I'm not going to be there on time. Will you start the show? And I'm sure she would have said, give me the techie info and I'll figure it out. But that's her level of commitment. And you got to be committed to show up every week. I mean, we're on a Thursday night. The only night we're probably not going to show up all year long on Thursday night is Thanksgiving night. And why? Because it's a holiday. Unless something dire straight happens, if something happened in Whit's family or something happened to my family, that's extenuating circumstances. Otherwise, we're going to be committed to be here for you every week and give you value.
Yeah, exactly. And you can take this so many ways. You really, really can. And but the thing is, you have to break inertia to start really gaining some ground. And it takes a while. It takes a while of consistent, massive effort to break inertia. But if you slow down, you reverse the process. And that's important to really sink in there, because a lot of people, like I have a high ticket item where you make $1,000 commission, and a lot of people will make that $1,000 commission and then say, okay, if they make it on a Tuesday, like, I'm done for the week. What are you up to? What are you doing? I already sold one. And I'm like, what do you mean you're done? You just got some steam. Like, keep going. You don't stop because you made one sale, or I don't even care what the amount is. You got one person. You don't stop there. You keep going and you build. It's 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, not 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. You keep going. That level of consistency and dedication where you are so undeterred and unfocused on the result, you are focused on the action. You have to be extremely loyal to the action.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I was trying to log into something and it was saying wrong password. My last pass was screwing up, so that's why I was like,
See, that's what happens when you try to multitask.
Yeah, I know. You can only concentrate on one thing at a time, and you need to concentrate on what you're doing now.
See, case in point, strategy. One thing at a time.
Yeah. So, what was I talking about? I got Alzheimer's moment,
Alzheimer's brain fart.
Yeah, brain fart. That's what I usually say, but
brain fart. We were talking about extraordinary grit and determination.
And I mean, what I'm going to say is probably, it falls into extraordinary grit. What's your ambition? And it also goes back into, what is your vision? Also, what do you get out of bed for in the morning? I know it's not to go to a job and work 40 hours a week for 40 years and retire and live the life of your dreams after you retire, because most of us, when it's time to retire, we're broke. And what do you get? You don't even get a gold watch anymore for your retirement. You get Social Security.
You're lucky to make it to that 20-year mark, because they're looking to fire you before they have to pay out benefits.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's got 11 years in working for the state of Illinois. She's got another, what did you say?
Between 9 and 14 years.
9 and 14 years, she can retire, and with the state pension, plus her retirement stuff. But is that the American dream?
A fixed income?
Yeah, a fixed income. My parents, they're baby boomers. They're living on, my dad's disabled and my mom's drawing Social Security because she was retired. And they don't have a pot to piss in. They struggle to make it every month. And my dad he's had he's had open heart surgery and he's had 3 back surgeries. So he can't do a lot of the things, he's physically disabled and can't do a lot of things. But and his medication just for his heart and his surgery and stuff were costing him like $900 a month. But he had to scale back all his medicine to get down to where he could afford to live, because his medicine was eating up his monthly income. So,
isn't that crazy? I mean, we talk a big game, that nobody should have to worry about medical care, medical coverage, and the cost of living. This is an actual cost of living. I mean, to invest in your health to where your medication is literally eating up your entire income. That's hard. That's not hard. That's just wrong on so many levels. But I mean, that's a whole other discussion in itself. It's just, that's the reality of corporate America. That's what you're left with after the 9-to-5 world. When you work all your life for somebody else to barely get by and just over broke, the acronym, and only to end up retired or, to where you can't work. And what do you have to show for it? A cost of living where, again, you're barely getting by. No gold watch, no fancy vacation, no retirement, no glory golden years. We don't have that luxury anymore.
No.
Even in the greatest country on earth, one of the richest countries in the world, we don't have that luxury. It's become a luxury, when in reality, we weren't created to struggle so much to have it to where we can't afford to live.
Right. And, I've experienced that a little bit too. I was laid off for 15 months and unemployment is nothing compared to what I make in my job, and my job's still not secure. I could get laid off from the job I have now, even though, right now my boss loves me and I'm her go-to guy. But if I piss her off, I could be gone tomorrow. Nothing's guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed is working for yourself. You decide what your income is. And if you don't make anything this month, why didn't you make anything this month? Because you didn't work hard enough.
Yeah. If you're showing up consistently with great value, the market will respond. And that's just it. When you invest in yourself to into a skill set that you can actually do something with, you will always be able to work. If you get your mind to the point where you've absorbed so much content, even if you just stay in your lane, stay in a niche, and you just learn everything there is to learn about that, which of course will take time, but you do that, you can establish authority. You can build an audience specific to that niche who are traveling in that lane with you.
Yeah.
And you can build a very good income off of that.
You said something very critical there, when you're ready. And that's what people, I'm ready now, give me the money, but it's not when you're ready. It's when the universe feels you're ready, then it'll pour into you.
Exactly. When you're ready, not when you feel you're ready, not when you think you're ready, when you really are ready, that's when it happens. And it's usually at like the point where you're ready to like run your head through a wall.
You may think you're ready all the way, but you're this close to be fully aligned, and it's just, you ever seen the picture online where you got the guy, there's two guys digging, and one guy's this close to success, and the other guy's this close to success. And the guy that's this close to success plants before the success. So, so that's what it is. You just have a little bit to go before that full alignment, and then it'll happen.
Yeah, like in Think and Grow Rich, where they were talking about 3 feet from gold.
Mm-hmm.
If they had actually looked into learning about how to find a gold vein, a gold deposit by studying the veins, that they were 3 feet away from it. But they gave up and they sold, and then the next person knew what they were doing. They had studied, they had learned and educated themselves onto how to find gold. So they found it right away.
Yep. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up early because we have a mastermind call to get to. And I'm going to let Wonder Wit close out the show this week. And it's over to you, Wonder Wit.
Yeah, sorry, he threw me off there. He's keeping me on my toes.
Yeah.
This one's over here talking to me about Angry Birds. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming. As always, we will be back next week to deliver even more value. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Jamie. Our links are below, so you can contact me or Jamie, whoever you're reach out to. And if you guys have any topics that you want us to go over, definitely let us know so that we can deliver more value. It is way more fun for us when we have an interactive audience. So I want to say thank you to Carlene, Pops, Katie for coming out and showing some support in the chat. And but we're going to go ahead and wrap up and leave you with that. We'll see you guys next week on Thriving Thursday.
Cool. And don't worry about the get started now button. The affiliate link don't work on that. So if you want to contact me or Wonder Wit herself, go under the chat and hit contact Jamie Shar, contact Wonder Wit. Those go right to our Facebook page. You can send us a message, ask us a question directly. So we'll see y'all next Thursday.